Hey people, it's Nias talking. Now, Dr. Evil is at it again. This is from Daily Mail. Could dimming the sun help to cool the earth? Bill Gates wants to spray millions of tons of chalk into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight to slow global warming, but critics fear it could be disastrous. I swear I'm sure I covered a story like this before, but who knows? These guys are just crazy and they just want to keep doing this. The project will see a test balloon launched this summer from the town of Kiruna. It will send 2 kilograms of chalk into the stratosphere 12 miles above the Earth's surface. Scientists will then monitor who the dust particles interact with the atmosphere. The first test of a project back to spray millions of tons of chalk into the stratosphere in an attempt to dim the sun and cool the Earth could happen in June. Harvard University experts will test the system by sending a large balloon 12 miles above the Swedish town of Kiruna and drop 2 kilograms of chalk dust into the stratosphere. The aim of the estimated $3 mission, backed by billionaire Bill Gates, is to have the chalk to deflect a portion of the sun's radiation, stop it from hitting the surface, and cool the planet. The idea has been heavily criticized since its inception, with project director Frank Kuich even called the need for this scale of geoengineering terrifying. And experts have warned that the unusual technique could be disastrous for weather systems in ways nobody can predict. Backed by a range of private donors, including Gates, the test mission is launching from Sweden, as they could offer a launch by the end of this summer. The test balloon will lift 600 kilograms of scientific equipment 12 miles above the surface of the Arctic town, and if all goes well, about 2 kilograms of dust will be released. This will then create a dust plume several kilometers in length, not large enough to have any effect on the intensity of sun rays hitting the Earth. During the first test, the team would gather information on how particles of dust react with the air. This could then be fed into computer models to determine what would happen if it were ever carried out on scale. Kuich told the Times he wanted to determine the true effects, as current models be too optimistic and make the technique look attractive. It would make tons of dust and plumes many hundreds of kilometers to make a difference. The theory being that the dust would create a massive sunshade. This would reflect some of the sun's rays and heat back into space, dimming those that get through and so protecting the Earth from the ravages of climate warming. Kuich, whose Harvard lab is leading the project, says the strategy would only be deployed in desperation to stop parts of the planet becoming uninhabitable. Without any efforts to stop climate change, such as curbs and greenhouse gases, emissions from fossil fuels and other pollutants, part of the world would be up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than they are today, studies show. This reminds me of an episode of Futurama where they pushed the Earth further away from the sun to cool it. Let's keep going. This would leave parts of the Earth uninhabitable by humans, including areas of Australia whose maximum temperatures are already atop 123 degrees Fahrenheit. Critics of the dust cloud concept say it gives politicians an excuse not to take the difficult action required to properly tackle climate change. University of Edinburgh professor Stuart Zeldine told the Times that blocking the sun would do nothing to remove the main cause of global warming. It will cool the planet by reflecting solar radiation, but once you're onto that, it's like taking heroin. You've got to carry on doing the drug to keep on having the effect, he said. He explained that without tackling pollution first, we would have to keep lifting more and more dust into the stratosphere, which would change the daytime sky to white, and if it ever stopped, there would be a rise in global temperatures again. Said David King from the University of Cambridge told the Times there should be a moratorium on rolling the technique out. He said it could be disastrous for weather systems in ways nobody can predict, so data should be gathered through modeling and other techniques. Kuich said that it's exactly what they are doing with this test, sending a small enough plume not to cause a problem, but enough to feed into modeling. David Keefe, a member of the study team, said the idea was to use the technique alongside other measures, rather than as a solution in its own right, adding it will buy the world some time while it tackled the wider pollution problem, including finding technologies that can pull carbon from the atmosphere. The fact is, whatever opinions I or other people in my generation have about solar engineering, including people who think it should never and can never be used, we're not the ones who are going to decide it all the times. Yes, billionaires who nobody votes for are going to make this decision for us. People who've said that they want to reduce the population of the planet. Anyway, let's keep going. The decision we face now is whether to study it seriously, and from my perspective, doing serious investigation of what its risks are and how well it could work provides the next generation with better information to make a more informed decision. There are numbers of geoengineering theories being proposed, including shinier crops and buildings to reflect more sunlight, micro bubbles in the ocean, and removing cirrus clouds. What the hell is that? Other proposals include giant space-based mirrors and spraying sea salt into the sky to make clouds more reflective. The inspiration behind seeing the sky with plumes of dust came from the volcano Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines that exploded in 1991. It killed more than 700 people, left more than 200,000 homeless, but also gave scientists the chance to monitor the consequences of vast chemical cloud in the atmosphere. The volcano disgorged 20 million tons of sulfur dioxide high above the planet, where it formed droplets of sulfuric acid that floated around the globe for more than a year. These droplets acted like tiny mirrors to reflect sunlight, and as a result, global temperatures reduced by 0.5 degrees Celsius for around a year and a half. This gave impetus to the idea of a dream fix of global warming and has been the subject of at least 100 academic papers. But creating what amounts to a gigantic sunshade for the Earth may come at a high price, posing even greater risks than climate change itself. One theory is that spreading dust in the stratosphere may damage the ozone layer that protects us from hazardous ultraviolet radiation, which can damage human DNA and cause cancer. Climatologists are also concerned that such tinkering could unintentionally disrupt the circulation of ocean currents that regulate our weather. This itself could unleash a global outbreak of extreme climatic events that might devastate farmland or wipe out entire species and foster disease epidemics. The potential for disasters does not even end there. Trying to dim the sun rays will likely create climate winners and losers. Scientists will be able to set the perfect climate conditions for farmers in America's vast Midwest, but at the same time might wreak drought havoc across Africa. Well, that's a plus for them. That's what they want. Where it's not possible to change the temperature in one part of the world and not disturb the rest, everything in the world's climate is interconnected. Furthermore, any change in global average temperature would in turn change the way heat is distributed around the globe, with some places warming more than others. This in turn would affect rain levels. Heat drives the water cycle, in which water evaporates, forms cloud, and drops the rain. Any heat alteration would cause an accompanying shift to rainfall patterns, but how and where exactly? There is no way of predicting how the world's long-term weather may respond to having a gigantic chemical sunshade plonked on top of it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm going to leave this article in the description. If you'd like to support this channel, I'll leave my GoFundMe in the description. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave that there as well. If you want to buy one of my t-shirts, I'll leave that there as well. Peace.